Leo Santa Cruz says that Tank Davis is better than Gary Russell Jr. And he said he down to fight Tank, but it's going to happen at 130, not 135, where Tank just moved up to. Let's talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Sign up for ESPN Plus below using my link. It does help the channel when you guys click on that link. And we got to talk about it. ESPN Plus, you can get that as a standalone app, or you can get ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and Hulu, all three apps, for one price of $12.99 a month. Click on the link in the description, all my videos, and again, it does help my channel. Leo Santa Cruz, he has done some interviews, link in the description, and he's talking about fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. I want to go over some of the quotes and then give my thoughts on what he said in these interviews. And you guys can watch them if you want to hear verbatim and, like, just see the interview and all that. Link in the description. And he basically said with the whole virus, he don't know exactly what's going to happen. He's, I'm going to paraphrase some of it. He says we could find out today, tomorrow, a week or two from now. We don't know. So, we have to wait this one out. But he says he definitely wants to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, but he doesn't know when that announcement. He lets basically the promoters handle that aspect, but he's ready to go. But one bombshell that he kind of dropped was that he wants to fight Tank, but he's saying he doesn't want to go to 135 where Tank Davis just moved up. Leo Santa Cruz says, and I quote, "I'm going to beat him, so I don't think Ryan Garcia is going to be able to get to him. I'm going to go out there and beat him, and then I'll probably have to move up to 135. 130, that is my weight now. I already had one fight at 130, so I don't think it's correct now to move up to 135. I'll do it when it's time, and I know I'm ready. When my body feels good, I'll move up to 135, but not right now." End quote. And this was pretty shocking because, I went to Leo Santa Cruz's last fight. He fought on the Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz 2 card. He was the co-feature. And I got to sift through the tapes, but I could have swore at the press conference or, one of the videos I had, he said he'll fight Tank at 135. So it sounds like, I'll review my tape, but I could have swore he was on record saying he would move up to 135 to fight Tank. Now all of a sudden, he's saying he's like backing off of that and saying he wants to make it at 130 and he knows he can beat him and he wants it. And he said that'll move his stature and his ranking because he believed. And the thing is, this is 2 different interviews that you guys have to watch if you want all these quotes, because it wasn't all in one video, just a brief sidebar. So he said this in a couple of interviews, and I'm kind of condensing for the sake of this video what he said in multiple interviews into one. But he also said that, beating Tank is more of an accomplishment because he thinks that Tank is better than Gary Russell. So my thoughts, I do want to see Tank versus Leo Santa Cruz. I'm curious about the weight situation because, like I said, to my knowledge, I thought Leo Santa Cruz was on record. And again, I'll look through my tapes to listen because he was talking about fighting Gervonta Tank Davis if he got past Flores, which he did. And, it wasn't his greatest performance, but he said he was sick before it. He has a, good resume, been a champion multiple times, so it is what it is. Some people have off nights. So I never heard about this 130 business because you have to look at it. Gervonta Tank Davis is somebody in his off season. He gained some weight from what it looks like from the eye test. He gained some weight. He's also had a couple times where he didn't make weight, namely his last fight that I covered against Yuriorkis Gamboa. Initially, he didn't make weight, and it got into a pushing and shoving match on the stage. And then he came back later, within an hour or two, within the allotted time, and he came back and made weight. But he was also on the Mayweather-McGregor undercard, the co-feature for that fight, which was a big card. And he lost his belt on the scale. He was fighting Francisco Fonseca, couldn't make weight in that particular fight. So that was that. He wasn't eligible for the belt, even though he knocked out Fonseca. And then I think it was against Liam Walsh or whoever he fought in the UK, and he missed weight on the first attempt. I think had a weigh-in naked, something like that. So there's been a couple of times where he's had issue making weight. So now that he's a champion, after he destroyed and dominated Yuriorkis Gamboa, got a 12th round knockout, but he controlled him the whole fight, right? He's a champion at 135. I don't see why this fight would take place at 130. I do understand that Leo Santa Cruz only had one fight at 130 against Flores, but I'm under the impression from past interviews that he was just down to fight Tank Davis in general, and I could have swore he said he was going to move up to 135. So this is why negotiations take place. You know, maybe Leo's team know the danger, because he even said in this interview, Tank is dangerous. You know, and he said that's what we want. We want good fights. I want to show people I'm not afraid of him. So maybe that's a reason why they know how dangerous he is. So obviously Tank would be probably more powerful at a weight he can make more comfortably. And I mean, even though his first fight at 135, he missed weight on the first attempt. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That kind of hurts the fight to me if it happens at 130, just because, one, it doesn't make sense because Tank's the champion at 35. Two, Leo Santa Cruz, I think, has the frame to move up to 135, and I think he didn't have any beefs or quarrels about it before, you know. So it's just like, what changed? You know, it's kind of weird because I'd never heard Leo. All he kept saying is, "Oh yeah, I just want to show people I'm not afraid of Tank, and I can beat him." And you know, he was just talking about fighting him. And now we're hearing all this weight stuff. So maybe they could do a catch weight. I'm not sure. I don't know what weight Tank is comfortable making, but to be honest, I would prefer it at 35, just because I think Leo Santa Cruz can make 35. I think he has the frame. He's going to be taller than Tank for sure. And if what you said in your first fight at 130 with Flores, you said you were sick. You know, he said he was sick during that fight, so that's why his performance was a bit lackluster. And I said, okay, you know, no big deal. So you can't say, oh, you know, I got to acclimate and, you know, my last performance wasn't that good, because you had a reason for, or an excuse or whatever, as to why your performance wasn't as good as you expected. You said you got the flu going into the fight. So we took that into consideration. So to me, it makes more sense at 135. The other issue that I have with what Leo Santa Cruz said is, you know, I don't know if it's his the way he talks or his presentation. He's kind of like a little bit monotone, and it just didn't seem confident. You know, you guys got to watch the interview yourself. It didn't seem confident. He was saying that Tank is better than Gary Russell Jr., which could be his real opinion. You know, he said, oh, he's more powerful, he's strong, you know, and he's better to me than Gary Russell Jr., so that's why I want to fight him. But it looks like Leo doesn't want to fight Gary Russell Jr. because they fought as amateurs and Gary Russell beat him as amateurs. And we just seen, I thought Gary Russell looked really sharp and was in the trenches late with his last opponent from Mongolia, you know, King Tug, Nayambiyar. I thought that was a very good fight, and it showed me the jab and the ring IQ of Gary Russell Jr. So I would love to see a rematch from the amateurs as pros with Leo Santa Cruz and Gary Russell Jr. as well. You know, and Gary Russell said, you know, he's going to chase these guys. He said if he can't get no action with a top big name and big payday attached to it at 126 or whatever, he said he's going to move up and hunt down the Lomachenkos and Tank. He said anybody can get it. Leo Santa Cruz, he's been on his head for a minute. So it seemed like people don't want smoke with Gary Russell Jr. because I ain't heard nobody say Gary Russell's a buster, sign me up, I'll fight him tomorrow. This is just my opinion. All the people Gary Russell Jr. has called out, Lomachenko, all of them. I haven't really heard Tank say much about him. I definitely haven't seen much interest from Leo Santa Cruz. So it's kind of weird. It looks like Gary Russell is, people know stylistically how good he is. He's fast-handed, powerful, fundamentally sound, motivated, stay in shape year round. So that's just kind of my presentation. So back to Leo Santa Cruz. He just didn't seem confident when he was talking about Gary Russell, because it was almost a contradiction in what he said. He says he believes that Tank is better than Gary Russell, which could be his opinion. But the only problem why I said a contradiction is this. If you believe that Tank is better than Gary Russell Jr., and in your heart of all hearts you do believe that, he later said in the same interview that he wanted to beat Tank and then fight Gary Russell Jr. He said, those are the two guys I called out, and I want to beat Tank. So why would you want to fight the better guy, beat him, and then fight Gary Russell Jr. if you admit a victory over Tank is the ultimate? You see what I'm saying? So I don't know if Leo Santa Cruz really believes what he's saying. I just thought that was kind of a contradiction. You say Tank is better, which, okay, maybe you think he's better. But then why would you want to beat the better guy first? Then what do you have to prove beating a guy who hasn't even moved up to 130 or 135 yet? If you just said that Tank was better, you know? So there's a little bit of double talk there from Leo Santa Cruz. And like I said, I don't know if it's just his personality, but he just seemed a little bit just coy and too relaxed. Like I don't know. You know, people, that video when Gary Russell put his arm around his dad and stuff, people acted like they were so angry and so triggered. But I didn't see those same people in the comment section that said it was so disrespectful. A lot of them were just calling Gary Russell names and, you know, leaving like street level, oh, this is messed up, he's gonna get dealt with in the streets, and you know, they were trying to treat it like it was like some gangbanging stuff. And he was just, you know, he didn't disrespect the dad like that. He just put his arm around him and said, oh, I want to fight your son, blah blah blah. And people seemed like so angered and triggered by it. But what I did notice is a lot of those same people weren't pushing for the action, which is what we all want to see, is the actual fight. They said, you know, they were saying, oh, you know, people get beat up and shot behind this, but it doesn't even have to escalate to that. These are two professionals. This is two pro fighters. So why are we talking about street level, like payback and stuff, when all they can do is fight? All they need to do is fight to determine who's the better. And they already fought in the amateurs. So that's cap. And we know why people do that. So I don't know. I just haven't seen too much interest from Leo Santa Cruz in fighting Gary Russell, just like when Leo Santa Cruz was, you know, in the same division and people wanted to see him fight Guillermo Rigondeaux. And then now with Tank, he's saying, I'm at 130. He's going to have to come down to me. But Tank is clearly the A side. You know what I'm saying? Tank in them little divisions around that weight, Tank is the man. Tank is, you know, the biggest name. He's drawing crowds. Leo Santa Cruz, I haven't seen him draw a consistent crowd like Gervonta Tank Davis and bring Shaquille O'Neal and all these stars out. You know, Steven Jackson and all these people. Mutombo. I was at Tank's last couple of fights. The one in Baltimore, the city came out. The one in Atlanta ATL came out. And the females was fine too. You see what I'm saying? So I don't really know what's going to happen. Like I said, maybe they could do a catch weight. This is news to me because I thought Leo Santa Cruz, I could have swore he said he was down to fight him at 135. But now on recent interviews, this is a recent interview conducted, he's kind of backing off the blocks and saying he got to come down to me. So I don't know. I just don't know if he has that leverage being the B side. Clearly the B side in this situation. And if you watch the interview, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Let me know if you think it sounded like he truly wanted to fight Gary Russell Jr. Those are just my observations. Let me know how I did in this video and what you think by leaving me a comment. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.